trigger warning, trigger warning. So if you get triggered easily, do not watch this video. Turn it off now. I don't want to hear any drama in the comment. Just turn it off if this is something you can't handle. Trigger warning. So the reason why I'm making this video is because I'm asking you guys for some prayers. Excuse my voice. I lost my voice. I mentioned it in a few other videos before. But it's much better now. So some of you are new to my channel. Some of you are not. Some of you know the story. Some of you don't know. I grew up in a family of addicts. My grandmother was basically the only one that was not. I have 7 brothers and 3 sisters. My youngest baby brother passed away at 30 days old because people were in the house were high as a kite and they weren't paying attention. And the baby's gone. My oldest brother passed away from addiction. And when I was 17 years old, I had to go identify the body. My little cousin passed away a few months ago from addiction. You would think if somebody grew up seeing something, they wouldn't follow in those footsteps. You would think, right? You would think. I've had 2 C-sections. I refuse pain medicine for that. I only took Tylenol. I refuse to take anything stronger than Tylenol because I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. I broke my hip, snapped my femur in half, shattered my kneecap, broke vertebrae. I broke my arm. I refused pain medicine. I took Tylenol. Because I don't want to be that. Sorry guys. Now my third youngest brother, his wife has to keep giving him Narcan these days. So I need prayers for him. His name is Cody. If you guys know him personally, I don't want any hate going to him. He has 2 kids. And he needs to be around for his kids. Pray for him. I have another brother, an older brother. His name is Thomas. He has 3 kids now. He has 2 older ones. And then he met a woman who reminds me identical of my mother. The falling down high as a kite, unable to care for herself, filthy, dirty. Picking up cigarette butts on the ground, digging through trash, eating food, just reminds me 100% of my mother growing up. My mother's not like that now. She's too old to be getting high and she's too old now. So she stopped. Thank God, thank God. I have no animosity towards my mother. Everybody's got their own journey. So no hate towards my mother, please. If you ever met her, you would love her. She's the life of the party. She's funny. She's charismatic. Like most addicts, right? Most addicts, people are like, wow, that was the coolest dude I ever met, or the coolest, she was so cool. Oh man, she was funny. Oh, life of the party. It's only the people closest to the addicts that suffer. But everybody else on the good time, Charlie. Yeah. So this girl that he met, I think it was 2021, 2020, something like that. Anyway, she ended up getting pregnant. So there's a baby less than a year old that was born addicted. And the baby was ripped from the mother immediately after giving birth because, the baby tested positive for all sorts of, things. And so did the mother. So the baby's not allowed to be around the mother. My brother has visitation with this baby every so often. It's a newborn, an innocent baby from this person who was, the last time I saw her in person, I was back home visiting, and she was about 8 months pregnant, falling down on the ground, stumbling. I called my brother up and said, hey, you need to go get your girlfriend. She's pregnant and falling on her face, down the street from your house. He's like, I don't know. She's not my girlfriend. I don't know her, because he was so embarrassed to admit that he's literally having history repeat itself. The first time I saw her, I was like, that's mom. You like her because she's even looks like my mother. Like, I'm like, whoa. When they say that people marry their mother or they marry people, Like, he's with that. He's with that. It's true. It's true. So you can tell your kids all day long, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. You can shove it in their face. They can be the product of, they can witness what these things do to you. What I know what addiction does. I saw it with my own two eyes. So I never want to do that. And I'm so upset and I'm so offended by my siblings that grew up in the same house, went to the same places, dealt with the same things, and they chose to follow in her footsteps. They chose to disregard their children for this. And they can't say, oh, I didn't know that this would happen. Oh, I didn't know. We know exactly what happens when you do things like this. We know. And this is what they're doing. I believe God has a plan for everyone. And I know you guys are like, well, what about your oldest brother? No, the second, Eddie, the Aquarius. He, you guys can pray for him if you want to. I told you guys about a GoFundMe about a year or 3 years ago about how he assaulted his girlfriend. She's permanently brain damaged now. She's mentally a 3-year-old after what he did to her. So I don't really, out of respect for the woman's family, I feel uncomfortable saying poor Eddie. So so for those of you that know the situation, that's why I'm not adding him into this, because I morally and out of respect, he handicapped an innocent woman. I can't be like, oh, poor thing. No, pray for her. Her name is Tiffany, if you guys want to pray for her. She has kids, by the way, and she'll never be able to mother her kids the way that she did. She won't be taking them to soccer games. She won't be doing PTA meetings. She will never, but that's besides the point. But again, this goes to addiction. Again, I'm sure that if he wasn't, he wouldn't have done those things, but that does not excuse this. And back to what I was saying, it doesn't matter your race. It doesn't matter your gender. It doesn't matter if your parents drill this into your head. It doesn't matter if you see it firsthand. It doesn't matter if you come from the perfect household. Anybody can fall into this. Anyone. And I've witnessed it with my own two eyes. And I am just so shocked. And I know you guys are probably like, well, why would you be shocked, Jamie? Most people who grow up seeing these things, they do it too. I guess I didn't know. I guess I did not know that. I guess I didn't. Because I thought we've seen it all, so we know what, we have the handbook of what not to do. We could write a book on what addiction does. And they're doing it anyway. My sister-in-law has missed both, I didn't want to say one, both of them have lost so many years of their life following behind this nonsense. Being manipulated. My one sister-in-law got a divorce and she's been happily ever after ever since. My other one, she's stuck in the most toxic, nasty situation. She's a good person. And I know some of you people that watch my channel, you are from my small town. And if you know who I'm talking about, it's not her fault. You guys might judge her. You don't know what's going on over there. Check on her often. Welfare check often. Her mother, who lives in Canada, always has welfare. The cops don't even listen to her, won't even do the welfare checks. So maybe somebody local could do one. Welfare check, please. So as she's giving him Narcan, when he's somewhat coherent, her life is a nightmare. If you guys want to drop off food over there, do so. Have something Instacarted, do so. And I'm not talking to my subscribe. I'm talking to people who are from my small town that know what I'm talking about. You know. If you know, you know. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the people that are watching this video. and they understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. So please, if you could, pray for my little brother Cody and pray for my brother Thomas. I didn't say last name, so I'm not doxing anybody. I didn't give any addresses out. None of that. Please pray for them so they don't end up like my oldest brother, my little cousin, my little baby brother that was 30 days old, and many other people in my family. And addiction, I do readings for people whose home went into foreclosure because their husband couldn't stop gambling all the family's money. That's an addiction. I know people who have passed away from obesity and the families had to watch it happen. People who have drank themselves to, yeah. So there's all sorts of people who refuse to eat and they've left this earth because of, so it's not just, it's not just that. There's many others. So I'm just praying for everybody out there that's going through this. Please pray for my brothers, even if only for their kids' sake. Although my mom had her issues, I'm happy that she's in our lives. I'm happy that she was in our lives. I'm glad that we didn't, that we had a grandma that lived 2 miles up the road that we could go to and be safe while she was doing her. But I know not everybody has that luxury, but we did. And I'm happy that my mom was in our lives. So even though she was all of those things, and I'm sure my nieces and nephews, they feel the same way. Maybe dad is messed up, but they still love their dad no matter what. I don't want them to have to go through grief. So please pray for them. And I'm sorry that this video is so heavy. I know most of my videos are lighthearted and Jamie Zebra 23 and rah. I purposely distance myself from my family. I only go visit during vacation times because I don't want my kids exposed to these things. Although my mother's clean, she says some things that people shouldn't say, such as, if I don't get a cigarette, I'm going to. I don't want my kids hearing that. Although she's not going to, that's not something that little kids should hear. So I have to, when I do go back home to visit, I first go in, say, hi, feel out the nicotine fits going on here. Is everybody all right? Is anybody drunk? I have to feel it out. If everybody's good, then I'll bring the kids in. Hey, say hi to grandma, take a picture, whatnot. My mom and my aunt are twins, say hi, see the family, but I gotta feel it out first. There's been times where I've come home to visit and I could not bring the kids in. I had to, next summer, we'll do it next summer, next time we come around, because things were not good. I can handle it. I'm an adult, but I just don't want my kids being exposed to that. I know some of you are going to be like, Jamie, what are you talking about? And good for you if you don't know. That's good. I'm glad. Good. But that's the gist of what this is. My children, they have a loving father, a loving mother. They have cousins that they see. They have friends to play with. They're doing well. Everything's good. So don't be like, oh, Jamie, no. We still keep in touch with family. We do FaceTime. We do all sorts of fun stuff. But just the certain groups, we can't. We have to, we just, I can't allow it. And, let the chips fall where they may, because as I said, there's no guarantee that you or your loved ones will not fall into any of these temptations. Because if you don't know anyone or have never been exposed to addiction, please put it in the comment section, because you are a diamond you are a rarity. I don't know anyone who doesn't know someone, whose kids, whose grandkids, whose cousin, whose uncle, whose mom, whose dad didn't fall under that umbrella somewhere, whether it be overeating, whether it be not eating. Everybody's been touched by this in some way, shape, or form. And if you've not, wow. Good for, thank the Lord that you don't have that kind of trauma. And if you are an enabler, go to those Al-Anon meetings. I don't really want to go too deep into it, but my other brother, who is the same as me. We don't do it. We don't do addiction. We don't do that. We've seen what we've seen, and we know better. We don't do that. Yeah. He has a girlfriend who's driving her adult son to the dealer's house. My brother's sick about this. It triggers us because we know our grandmother had to put us in the back of her station wagon at 3 o'clock in the morning all the time to drive an hour and a half away to a trap house. When my mom said, "Call, help me! Oh, I need to get home." My grandma who was crippled, but they have the hand, the brake with the hand on the steering wheel. Because anyway, you guys know how my grandma got crippled. Addiction. Not hers, but somebody else's. But we'd have to go over there and wait outside while people banging on the windows and whatnot. And my mom was nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. So we drive home. It was my grandmother called it game plays. It was another game play. And this happened often. So now my brother, we're 11 months apart in age, is reliving that, all, sitting in the passenger seat while he's in the back seat to go to. So many of you will know what I'm talking about. Maybe many of you are dealing with this yourself, and I'm so sorry. There's another reader on YouTube that's dealing with this, but it's her daughter, and I won't name names because it's not my business to out people, but she talks about it openly on her channel. Pray for her daughter as well. But I mean, it's like, if you've not been touched by this in some way, shape, or form, I'm so happy for you. And I hope you never do. All right, guys.